All right, hello everyone. I'm just gonna go ahead and get started so I don't take too much of Josefina's time. Today is creating a marketing plan that works, a step-by-step guide for startups. So a huge thank you to all of you tuning in live to get some more knowledge. So we'll go ahead and get started. Quickly, here is a video from Nicole with the Center for Rural Affairs team. So I'm going to play this quick, but a huge thank you to them for being a sponsor and a partner with Grow Nebraska.
Hello, and thank you for joining today's webinar, sponsored by the Center for Rural Affairs. My name is Nikki Chitwood, and I'm the Panhandle Loan Specialist. As one of the many services we provide, I am here to introduce to you our lending services. When a bank can't help you with your dreams of homeownership or growing a business, the Center for Rural Affairs can. We offer coaching and financing to help you become a homeowner and start or grow a sustainable business. Please feel free to contact me at 308-631-0157, or you can visit cfra.org for more information.
So like she said, her contact information is right over here, or you can go to cfra.org for more information. Our featured sponsor for this month is Aloe Fiber Nebraska. They're doing a lot of great things in several different communities, and we're super thankful to have them as a sponsor for Grow Nebraska. And our featured member is Cracklin Kirk's Fireworks, and they have been a Grow member since 2019. So the 4th of July is approaching. So if you're looking for fireworks, he is your go-to guy. And then this week's presenter is Josefina Loza. We have her back again for her second part of the three-part series. And she was a presenter at Market Tech. And of course, if you have any questions, please pop them in the chat or the Q&A section, and she'd be happy to answer them.
Yeah, so I have the chat open. I always like to see who signed in, and I know that we have a few participants right now. Please mention your name, throw your business out there. Maybe you're just doing professional development. Would love to see who was the Center of Affairs information. We'll share that again with you, Kimberly, but the Center of Rural Affairs is a loan office. So I'll let Zoe take care of that. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya from Fabulous Brews. Get your name shout out. I think that that's huge. I think that us learning how to self-promote is something that I'm such a big advocate in, and making sure that people understand that, like, when you run a small business or you run a business, right? Every bit of your DNA is interwoven with this business, and it's what you represent, and it's what you believe in, and it's what you want to grow, right? So that's why you're all here. So please always be an advocate for your business and share. If you have questions during this, please, sign into the chat. I would love to hear your questions throughout, but we'll go ahead and we'll get started. The thing about and I'm very grateful and have full of gratitude for Grow Nebraska, is being able to connect someone like me directly to small businesses or to businesses as a whole. Edel Summers, thank you for joining us today. The big thing for us is community. And that is really the foundation of any business. You have a product, you have a service, but it is the community, it is your supporters. Those are the ones that are going to help you grow that business. So as we look at some of the marketing plans and how to build a marketing plan, we're going to be talking about what that community looks like to you. Some people call it an audience, some people call it clients or customers, but for me, it's a community. I feel like it's a very reciprocal thing that's happening. I'm talking to them about new things that I'm investing in, or things by trial and error, when it comes to marketing and Josefina, and I want them to give input. And so that's what we call market research. So that's all of what we're going to be sharing. So let's launch in right now. I'll get ready to share my screen, and we'll start talking about what a marketing plan looks like for you all. Let me see here. I'll click share screen, and I need some thumbs up. I like reactions. Okay, everyone. So definitely hit the, and I'll do my desktop, but hit thumbs up if you start to see the share button. And I like to share it all because I bounce around with websites and things, and I want to make sure you're able to see stuff. I built this one out of Canva. It's easy to use. Those of you who aren't familiar with Canva, it's kind of like a designer in your pocket is the best way to describe it. You know, easy pitch decks that you can pull. As you can see, this one here, I yanked this one, but I always retool and make stuff my own. So let's go ahead and present, and I'll show you a little bit about what you can be doing. And here we are. So marketing. I often get people who are confused with the difference between what is marketing, what is branding, what is advertising, what is public relations, because they all lump it together. And the essence of marketing is what we're going to just really break into, and talk about, and the little nuances of what makes a successful campaign for each of you in your own respected area. So right now, I have it. So if you want to download a worksheet as we go through this, on the agenda, you'll see that there's the email office@josefina.com. Shoot off a quick hello. And what you'll do is you'll get an automatic response that should come like, I don't know, in 30 seconds. And it'll have a link where it says download here, or download PDF. Go ahead and hop on that and fill out this PDF as you move forward. Save a copy on your hard drive. So that way, I hate when I do webinars, or I hate when I teach and people aren't taking notes, right? You can take notes, but like, let's work together on this. I feel like it's a lot more productive when you have a visual in front of you. So today's agenda, we're going to talk about campaign goals. Obviously, I always go back to SMART goals. It's the acronym's so spot on and easy for people to identify and use. We'll discuss market research, really identifying who is your community, who is your clientele, who are those customers that are attracted to your product. We'll discuss a budget. That's something with marketing that oftentimes people forget to include. When they're doing promotions, it's huge, right? What is the point of having a product that is so amazing, but no one's ever going to know about because you never promoted it, right? Same as how we began this, like give a shout out, put your links in there, share your businesses always, okay? And then results. I think the key thing is understanding what is the point of investing in a budget? Because people have, I guess, some far-fetched ideas of what the results should be of a campaign. And I kind of want to just narrow things down and simplify. Like if you're investing in a marketing plan or a campaign, here's exactly what results really look like, as opposed to someone saying, here, I have this thing, go make it go viral. I hate that. I'm like, what? Okay. Marketing channels. Marketing channels we'll discuss are a little bit of where your platforms are, where you're going to be touching base with people, and explain what a good marketing mix should look like. And then I like to use key performance indicators. And then I love metrics when it comes to website analytics with some of these marketing channels. So that's what we'll discuss. And let's move on. So I would launch into campaign goals immediately, but I'm not, because I think immediately people should know what marketing is, right? Why it's important. And so I found this nice video. I am all for promoting other businesses, even my competitors. If they're doing something great, I want to showcase them. So I found this video online, and I think that they did a great short, tight, and concise video to describe what is marketing. And we're going to listen to that first, and then we'll launch into why a campaign matters, okay? So
the aim of any business is to make money, and marketing is an essential element of that. Marketing is important because it helps you sell your products or services. Of course, marketing costs, but done well, it will cost much less than the money it makes. Good marketing will take $1 and turn it into $10. So don't look at the cost, see the benefit. Like all things, if not done right, it just won't work. Great marketing starts with a strategy to identify your target audience. Engage with them, develop a lasting relationship, increase your brand awareness, and build trust. Smart marketing asks, tests, and measures the results. Jazz does exactly that to help you successfully market your business. So let's start with a conversation.
So I'm going to pause that there. Like I said, hey, I'm going to shout out a competitor. Just there's enough out there. And once we as small businesses or large businesses or big companies understand that collaboration is where it's going to be at, especially if you don't know how to do something, I highly recommend. But competition's good for the soul, right? So it drives me. Let's continue on. So campaign goals. Understanding what a campaign goal is huge. It's everything from saying, okay, I want to identify something clever to attract people to. We'll use a water bottle, right? Maybe it's an eco-friendly water bottle, and I want people to buy it. And there are so many water bottles on the market, right? But I want people to know my story. I want people to understand what brought me here to want to market this water bottle, right? So why it matters that we do a campaign is identifying with focus, right? You have to have a direction in which you want people to identify, like the water bottle, my backstory. Maybe the backstory is I was, camping and I couldn't find clean water, and this water bottle like has a filtration system and it cleans natural water that from springs and makes it drinkable, whatever it may be, right? So the whole entire point is it's helping you identify what is your storyline, what are the objectives of what you're trying. Is it awareness? Is it getting more people obviously to buy the water bottle? Is it how do you want to reach these people? So that's why we set up objectives immediately with the campaign. When you meet with someone like myself or a marketer, they'll say, okay, well, tell us about your product. And oftentimes the first thing is people don't even know how to identify who they are or how to explain it in concisely in like one or two sentences. If you could, and if you downloaded the sheet or you have a piece of paper, identify who you are in two sentences. Identify your product, identify your business. Maybe you are newly graduated, right? And you are getting ready to hit the market and you're looking for a phenomenal job, but you are now the product and you have to learn how to identify, think of that resume. What is your objective? What do you want to achieve here? And then get down to like really the nitty gritty of those objectives, because oftentimes people have set these goals that I feel are lofty and you can't measure them. You have to be able to measure your success. You have to know whether or not the campaign's working, whether or not, if you're doing traditional ads in a newspaper or on maybe Google Ads, that it's working. If it's not working, you're throwing money at something that doesn't serve you. So you want to make sure that you're able to always keep measurable goals. So that's what SMART is. And we're going to go over SMART together. But it's aligning your goals with this set of criteria that is specific, a specific objective, right? It's measurable, right? It's achievable. It's something like not, hey, make this water. It can happen, but there's a certain thing and certain standards and certain steps that have to happen, include investments in order for it to go viral, right? So, and then it has to be relevant, right? Who is your market, right? That's why we do market research, and why it's relevant to that market, that they're going to want to pay attention, that they're going to want to know, and that you do it not endlessly, but you have, a set parameters where you want to end this campaign to see if it was successful and then do it again, a second campaign or start a new campaign. So I'm going to click here. We're going to go over SMART.
Now, anyone can set a goal, but if you really want to achieve your goals this year, setting SMART goals can help. This short video will teach you how to make your own SMART goals. Now let's get started. A SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. A SMART goal can be behavioral, academic, or social. SMART is a helpful acronym for setting these types of goals, but you don't necessarily
We
have to
had
go
a
through
little
the letters.
glitch here.
In fact, it can be helpful
Let me
when
see.
brainstorming to start with the S and the T. A specific goal is one that is well-defined and focused.
Let me
One
see
way
what
to decide
happened
if a goal
here.
is specific is to ask
Just
yourself,
a
can I
moment.
describe what I want to accomplish in one phrase or sentence? A time-bound goal has a target date to bring it into focus. Here you want to ask yourself, how much time will it take me to reach this goal? A goal that is relevant to you is one that positively influences your life as a unique individual. To decide if a
Let's go back. I'm sorry. My apologies. I think that the screen glitched on me here and wanted to go out. So I want to make sure that you all see it. My apologies. Let's start again. And we're going to bring it here to the entire screen. And let's present it. Apologies. And back onto your SMART goals. Let's see here. Present. Okay. Let's start again where we left off. Apologies. Okay.
Now, anyone can set a goal, but if you really want to achieve your goals this year, setting SMART goals can help. This short video will teach you how to make your own SMART goals. Now let's get started. A SMART goal is a goal that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. A SMART goal can be behavioral, academic, or social. SMART is a helpful acronym for setting these types of goals, but you don't necessarily have to go through the letters in order. In fact, it can be helpful when brainstorming to start with the S and the T. A specific goal is one that is well-defined and focused. One way to decide if a goal is specific is to ask yourself, can I describe what I want to accomplish in one phrase or sentence? A time-bound goal has a target date to bring it into focus. Here you want to ask yourself, how much time will it take me to reach this goal? A goal that is relevant to you is one that positively influences your life as a unique individual. To decide if a goal is relevant to you, ask yourself, will pursuing this goal prevent me from doing something that may be more important to me? Next, a measurable goal allows you to see the changes you are striving for. To figure out a measurable goal, ask yourself, how am I now and how will I be different? Lastly, an achievable goal is one that is realistic and worth the energy, effort, and change required to achieve it. Consider if your goal fits these parameters by asking, what is my motivation for achieving this goal? Like we said in the beginning, anyone can set a goal, but using the SMART approach for your goals will make your objectives much easier to achieve.
Okay. Sorry about the glitch. I think that that's part of life anymore. But going back to what you're saying, identifying objectives, things that you feel are going to be beneficial to you. Yeah, I have some examples here. So, maybe it's to increase website traffic by 20% in the next 6 months. The reason why that is a great example is because you're setting the tone by saying, okay, specifically, here's the product that I want, or here's what I'm identifying that needs to be done. I want to increase my website traffic, right? And so then you're setting the goal of the 20% that you want to achieve, right? So then there's a metric that you're going to be looking at. You're going to be looking at your analytical report, how many people are visiting the website, how often do they go on, what things are they clicking onto. Maybe it's something that's popular that you haven't thought about, that you want to present a blog or a video or something interactive, so that way you give people a reason. Maybe you sell products and you're going to have a special code that's only released on the website for those who follow along. Those types of things are all identifiable in that SMART criteria, and you're able to plan ahead and see what you're, in the next 6 months, if you're able to do it. And if not, then maybe at a midpoint, you're able to say, okay, this isn't getting the traction that I want. Let me pivot. Let me see what I can do with this campaign differently. Another maybe to generate 50 new leads per month through social media, right? So you want 50 new leads. What are you doing to create the funnel system that's going to attract people onto your page? Are you going to, maybe it's do an advertisement on social media, so that way you can, capture people's data and information that'll give you those 50 leads. Maybe it's 50 new leads that maybe you're at a big event, College World Series, and no one's ever known about your product, but you're going to go walk around and show them this eco-friendly water bottle, right? And do giveaways and say, hey, if you visit my social media or follow the social media, we'll give you, I don't know, like 20% off or whatever it may be, to get people to garner that traction that you're looking for. Next, market research. So understanding that community that I was speaking about earlier, that is so huge, right? The importance of it is making sure that you are able to see, like, who wants this water bottle, right? You're able to create messaging that is going to hit that demographic. Maybe you are leaning into a younger market, right? Maybe you want to hit, college age students that are traveling. So then you're going to gear your language, how you approach them, the things that they see that are associated with this water bottle. That is going to be a relevant package branding message that's going to be something that resonates with them, right? Um, Identifying, a great way to identify and do market research or surveys, right? That's one way. You create buyer personas, profiles to kind of understand who your ideal person is going to be, right? And then you analyze those in a focus group, though that persona, to say, okay, college students, if I want to attract college students that are maybe adventurous hikers or whatnot, can I go in, to several different hiking clubs or camping stores or whatever it may be, and pull together a small group of people and then ask them questions about this water bottle and what they're attracted to. So then you're able to identify what the selling points are when you try to reach the masses. Same with analyzing competitors. That's why I say, I love to share competitors. I love to see what they're doing. I love to know what works well. Like, they have the model, right? So what is it about their model and functionality that works well for them? So it's smart to pay attention to what your competitors are doing. So again, when you're looking for putting together the research and target that audience, what you're looking for is, who is your potential clients, right? What is their demographics, their age, are they male, female? Are they, maybe they're unemployed, maybe they are, six figures, or, beyond. What is it about that demographic? And then also, where do they spend their time? Because obviously they don't know about you, so you have to go where they are. Next is budget. Budget is huge because I see that people never really, it's an afterthought to think about, right? You're so involved in your business and making sure the business has functionality. But when you're trying to attract new clients, or you're trying to bring in new website traffic, or maybe it's a brand awareness, people don't really think it's a retroactive decision when it should be a very proactive decision. So I would recommend, like, looking at your revenue that you're bringing in, right? and starting to plan ahead to allocate resources for the next year, right? Or for a small campaign. So in order to do that, it's clearly you don't want to overspend. Remember, what's the point of having a bunch of Google ads if nobody's clicking on them? Then you're just throwing money at it. But maybe it's more, people need to try it or test it. And so you want to do something that's more experiential, and experiment with your customers and go to a big event where you're having water bottles or having big events. Like think of Red Bull and how Red Bull, has these major attractions, or Kind Bars. The Kind Bars would go to festivals and events and actually just hand out the product. So that way people taste it and say, oh my goodness, this is so wonderful. Where can I get this? Right. So allocating resources, thinking about your budget, thinking about what you want to do, the type of campaign that you want to have is what's going to set you up to then base your strategy within your budget, right? What your goals are and how to monitor how you're spending that amount of money. Maybe you thought, okay, I have these water bottles, but I can't give them out to everyone, right? But maybe I can host an event of giveaways, but maybe I can identify a specific targeted group and only give it to that targeted group and have them be my brand ambassadors. Maybe you're looking at, you do services and maybe you are in the beauty industry and you do lashes, right? So obviously you can't hand out lashes, you can hand out cards, but there's a different way to set up maybe an online tutorial and give out free advice of how to make those lashes stay longer. So you have to give a little bit of something or invest in it, and there's going to be a big return. And so how much to allocate has always been something that people come to me and ask. And the rule of thumb is usually like 10 to 20%, right, of your projected revenue that goes to market, right? And people were like, oh my gosh, I can't give 10 to 20%, right? It's okay. There are things that you can do with a marketing plan or campaign that are small and still very effective. But when you are starting a business, right, you're a new startup, you have to plan for at least some sort of 10 to 20% of a budget to create effective marketing plans to really get out there, right? Otherwise, you're wasting your time. So make sure that when you allocate your budget, go in knowing what the plan is going to be, right? How much will it cost if I give a targeted group water bottles? How much will it cost if I need the equipment to do online tutorials? So stay within your means, right? But also have a plan, a purpose of metrics, which is what we're going to get to next. Going back to the results, right? So milestones, there needs to be some sort of timeline, deadlines, milestones that help you keep track those metrics that we were talking about, right? So it is so huge when someone's first starting out that if they're doing an advertisement, say, right, and they will go back to the Google ads. So say that they decide that they're going to promote their services on Google, right? And it identifies who your targeted audience potentially could be, but that's still not converting into income coming in, like dollars, walk through traffic. We'll go back to the gal who does lashes, right? So say she has a salon, it's brand new, she loves what she does. She made the investment of, buying a nice camera, investing the time with lighting, and offering to, maybe it's do a few gals lashes for free, right? So that way she can have the content that she can continue to push out and boost out, right? So the attraction, the engagement, and how soon she's turning traffic into actual money, right? Customers that are returning customers. That's what we're looking for. That's the brand awareness. That's the trust that you're building, that you are consistently giving clients an opportunity to learn about you, to learn about your story, to figure out your narrative, to want to invest in you. They could go to anyone to get their lashes done, but they like you, right? They love to know when they had their lashes done, how to maybe keep them up, how to care for them, because you have these free tutorials that you offer on your socials, right? And in exchange, we'll go through the metrics in here in a little bit, but you're able to go to the back end of your insights on Facebook or your analytics on Twitter, or maybe your analytics on YouTube, or maybe you're sharing it on, Instagram, those reels, to see how many people are clicking and the times a day that they're clicking. And when we want to look at results, people want everything. I think it's instant gratification. They want results immediately, right? Business owners are like, I'm investing in this. This should be a fast turnaround. And not all campaigns are quick turnarounds, right? A short turnaround effort would be, like we said, creating content and seeing the content appear, and then does that drive social media engagement? That's a short-term goal. But maybe the long-term investment is that, she wants to partner with a brand, right? And that's going to take a lot longer. Maybe she wants brand recognition, that she's doing a special with a particular brand, and the market is to tap into their circle of people who already are purchasing that product, but you're the one who provides the service. And so you're looking for that cross promotion. That's something that's going to take a little longer. So be realistic about those long-term investments, because it's persistence. It's key. It's not a one-time effort. I always say, like, when you are that college student, right, freshly graduated, you don't just put one application at a job and expect you to get the job. Like, that's not how this works, right? You have to do several. You have to tweak your resume. You have to tweak, maybe your skill sets, and how you're putting forth the best cover letter for whatever position that you've identified. So think of your business that same way, right? You have a brand description. You have to constantly tweak, right, your marketing campaign. You have to constantly look at what it is that you want to achieve. And then if you're not getting it within a timely fashion, how can you adjust? How do you pivot? Marketing channels. So obviously, we're in a very visual society now. And so it's easy to identify some of the content that you can be utilizing at your fingertips, right? Social media. Social media is the Facebook, the Instagram, X, right? It's LinkedIn, right? I always encourage, hands down, whatever your business is, please get a LinkedIn account and be connected with other business owners, because you're going to learn so much from them. You're going to share ideas, and there's a lot of collaboration and cross promotion that could be happening. So pay attention to, the market, right? On a professional level, but then also in the social media engagement level, it's huge to have that rapport. So using social media is a way to, like, you don't physically open up the door for your customer, right, in an online setting, but it allows that idea that they are now getting behind the scenes content of your brewery, right? They feel exclusive. They feel it's an intimate setting. So do try to engage your audience. Do try to have rapport with them. It's huge. Email marketing is also something that's not going to go away anytime soon. Like, this is something that goes directly inboxed into somebody. And maybe it's a special, maybe it's a way of engaging your audience to want to still pay attention to that upcoming maybe collaboration of the eyelashes, and your favorite esthetician or stylist who puts them on. Maybe it's a meet and greet. Maybe you're going to have an open house. Maybe you're opening up your doors for the first time. Maybe you're celebrating an anniversary, right? These are those milestones. Be able to promote those milestones with your audience and be able to engage them and invite them into your world. Content marketing. This goes into the blogs, the videos, the infographics. Information is we get so inundated with information, right? You go, you scroll, 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 right? All day long. We wake up, what's the first, what are we doing? We're waking up and we're checking our phones, we're scrolling, right? So look at how you are utilizing content and information, and then look at how your business is producing content. And is it something that's valuable? Is it something that they want to read? Is it maybe this water bottle you can have an influencer, right? Who's already traveling, be your brand ambassador and take that water bottle all around the world. And maybe it's a photograph of the water bottle on the Eiffel Tower, or maybe it's in Bali, or maybe it's off the shores of, I don't know, Greenland, like, or wherever this water bottle's going, it's sharing a story of travel, and it's getting stickered and beaten up, and yet it's still working, and it's still something that has value because it's made so sturdy. So look at the way you're sharing your content and how you're telling those narratives and stories, because that matters too in your mix. Now, SEO and SEM, that's another big thing, right? So every company, especially if you have a website, right, should pay attention to why you are, you look at your metrics, right? You look at the opportunity to engage people, but you also have to do it in a coded way that helps you with your Google ranking, right? Helps you with being able to be more identifiable as like the most prestigious or pristine salon that does these lashes. Pay attention to who your competitors are. Like we're inundated with so much information. You have to be specific. You have to use keywords. You have to be able to identify what you do. And the value of making sure that you invest in your company to make sure it's put out there as one of the best. That way it gets seen first. Think of how, again, you're using the computer when you do a search for, maybe it's a Mexican restaurant. You want to find a Mexican restaurant next to you or near you, right? When you pull up that search, how many pages are you going in before you actually decide? You usually go with whatever comes on that first or second page. You don't go beyond the second page, rarely. So same with you. When you pull up and you write eco-friendly water bottles, right? See which companies come up first. And if you're not one of the first, then that's why SEO is important. You need somebody on the back end of your computer coding and putting these keywords so that way you're identifiable and people can find you. And then there's traditional media. So that's the print, that's the TV and the radio, and that's what we've been using. There's a value in that still. And using traditional media. But once again, know where your audience is. And if they're not reading, or they're not online, or they're not, whatever it may be, you need to go where they are. Okay. Marketing mix. A marketing mix is here. I have three identifiable products that I came up with. One is that eco-friendly water bottle, but it's huge to put together a plan, right? That's the strategy behind what works and what works well. So if you're able to identify the following things, what is the product? What is the price of this product? Where are you going? What place are you going to go to market this product, right? And what does the marketing look like? Like, right? What methodology are you utilizing? So the three examples I give is organic skincare line, right? I mean, that's huge, right? So the price would be mid-range. And maybe it's an e-commerce website that you're building out. So obviously you're going to be looking at maybe some SEO, maybe making sure that you are on the right platforms to sell it, right? And then also beauty stores, right? So those are the places you want people to find the product. And so how are you going to reach out to them? You're going to use social media. You're going to use content marketing. That goes back to those blogs or those vlogs or the videos or whatever it is that you're creating. Same with the eco-friendly water bottles. Affordable, right? It's an affordable range. There's so many out there. So where am I going to sell them? I'm going to sell them on online marketplaces, on Amazon. Maybe they're eco-friendly retail stores that you want to get connected with. Again, the SEO, social media, email marketing. You're going to see something happening here. You have to give value to people to want to pay attention to your websites. You have to give value that it's entertaining, maybe it's educational, informative. There has to be value for people to want to follow you, right? The premium fitness equipment. Maybe it's more high end. So you want to be direct to consumer. Think of Peloton, right? And how they market and how they reach people. They're obviously, there's the website, there's the high end sports retailers, there's the, making sure that they're targeting, maybe it's an influencer who is sharing how they use their Peloton or whatever the device is. And then they engage that audience that may be thinking about investing or renting through email connections. So having this marketing mix and this plan is huge. And then goes back to the key performance indicators. So there's measurement and metrics, which is like a website, and a metric would be like the data points in which you're able to pull up to see how successful your ad went on Google Ads, right? How many impressions, how many times somebody viewed it, what's the organic traffic, how many people naturally came to this. But when we are identifying KPIs, I like KPIs. Metrics have value when I am looking at social media content, right? But sometimes there's the larger story. And that's where I like to really use KPIs for understanding the audience base. So measuring how effective it was that our approach was to share, the details of the narrative of the person who has been doing eyelashes for X amount of years or whatnot, and why she started it. So I strongly believe when you look at website traffic, you have to look at the numbers of visitors. So that's the metrics, right? And another KPI could be maybe the conversation rate or the conversion rate. The conversion is when you take a percentage of people who maybe visited the website, how many are actually going through and purchasing something, right? Then social media engagement, monitoring the shares, the likes. Once again, that's the metrics, but you're looking at the big picture is, how we're connecting, how are you performing with this marketing plan? The strategies again behind it. When you are putting together this plan in your mind, you want it to go viral. But what actually happens is another thing. You start to learn that there's different patterns of behaviors. Maybe putting out that water bottle ad at 10 in the afternoon doesn't really do you justice, because you're wanting to attract maybe a group of hikers, and they're going to get up early. So obviously they're going to be checking their socials at like 5 a.m. So you should pay attention to the patterns of behaviors of who you're trying to reach, and then adjust. I do case studies, and I believe in case studies because you're able to talk about your initial strategy, right? This is good information for like any marketer who or any person who's trying to create that plan. Having a case study is basically saying, I already had the marketing mix. I already identified what my product is and the places I want it. And here's what, by means of how I'm going to observe of, how I'm going to get those results, right? So when you do a case study, that's where you are sitting down and focusing strategically. What is it that you did or are going to do, to achieve that goal? Remember, SMART, right? If you're focused on maybe running Google ads for the eco-friendly, water bottle, right? Then you have to look at, the metrics to see, okay, does it have a low conversion rate? Is it something that's not attracting people? Maybe you need to tweak the audience. Maybe you're looking at the ad that you put out and it is actually attracting not the 20-year-old adventurous people, but maybe it's actually attracting moms who need a eco-friendly water bottle that they can carry with them when they're out and about with their kid. You need to know your audience. It could be completely different. So that's why we observe But we also put together these case studies to understand how do you adapt that? Okay, so if I am no longer attracting, maybe it was intended to attract young and adventurous, and it still can serve that purpose, but I can also retool another campaign that's just geared towards moms that are getting ready to go to the zoo, or, maybe taking their kid to the play gym, or maybe going to a museum and they're on the go and they are focused about, making sure that they are providing the most safe and, not contaminated water, but, things that are going to be approachable for them that they can identify and see themselves with. So I did the same with the idea of using skincare. Maybe if we were to do a startup with an organic skincare line, that the primary goal would be brand awareness, right? Just driving traffic. And so then you look at the channels in which, where would I be driving this content? It's going to be on Instagram. It's going to be content marketing. It's going to be email marketing. And then you figure out your objectives. Well, I want to increase my website by this. I want to grow my followers by that. I want to make sure that of those followers, there's a conversion rate of people who are actually going into the e-commerce site and buying something by this percentage. And then, you look at how you're going to observe it, right? You look at how long you're going to be doing it, and then you figure out whether or not it's something that has been introduced. Maybe it's a collaboration with, like I said, that beauty professional, right? So that influencer was able to give more in-depth content and open you up to a new audience. So the results were your followers grew by 35% because it was a untapped market of an audience with this other collaboration. And then, the Fit Pro. So that is, I don't know, I came up with it, but it's you do a case study on the higher end. It's a higher end product. So my marketing channels are going to be a little bit different. I'm going to be using YouTube. Maybe I'm going to be giving away free 30-day subscription to the YouTube content of working out, right? And that's going to attract people to want to use the product because they have workouts that they can do, using calisthenics for their own body, but they really want to be on this machine, this elliptical. And so it's going to kind of plant that seed that you're watering constantly by giving them routines and user generated content and fitness tips that, I'm going to finally do it. I'm going to finally invest in this elliptical because I want it, right? And then you capture their data and you make sure you're constantly not inundating them, but like having that rapport with them. Like, hey, did you know we have a new feature? Hey, did you know we're releasing a new product? Hey, did you check out these new sneakers? Whatever it may be. So you want to continue to look at your objectives, adapt, observe, and then look at those results. So that is my presentation for today, to understand how to do a step-by-step marketing plan, what your marketing mix is, and what's needed. I'm going to click stop sharing. And I'm going to go into chat to see if there are any questions that you might have. Do know that marketing is tricky, right? I always say, if you don't feel that it's something that you personally can do and you'd rather shop it out, then shop it out. There's no harm in that. But you market yourself every day. You are always, think of how you, like, what you brag on. Think about, maybe it's your children. You're really proud of them and you want to, showcase, like, oh my goodness, little Susie made the honor roll. Think of how you talk to people. It's just a conversation. When you stop looking at your client base or your audience as just a group of numbers, and you start treating them as human beings in the community that you want to have rapport with, that's what brings that loyalty. That's why they subscribe. There's value there to the conversation that you're having with them. That maybe you have a special tea shop and that they're coming in, they could buy tea anywhere, but they're coming for you, right? And it goes back to, how are you utilizing social media right now? Like, think of your behaviors, because there's no sense of pushing a product through the wrong channels if it's not even the way you would want to be approached with your same product if you were on the opposite side of the table. So let's see here. Thank you for joining us, Brittany. I appreciate it. She's in marketing over at Core Bank. I love, mixing and mingling, because even like when you're talking about retail or commercial or, big corporations, they're all different dynamics, but the strategy still stays the same. There's still a marketing mix, there's still a strategy, there's still a campaign. Let's see here. What about for a tourist guide website? Well, Carla, that's a great question. And it goes back to understanding what is the value of the tourist guide website, right? Now, what do you want to achieve? Do you want to achieve more people submitting events to you? Do you want it to be maybe more people going to you to get the information? Think of, and one of my favorite like tourism that like the Omaha tourism, well, it's Nebraska tourism does is the Passport Nebraska, where they're doing collaborations with different businesses or different like scenes where you can go to, maybe that tea shop and you get a stamp. Like think of creative ways to market how you can get people and different businesses to work together in tandem to achieve the same goal. That's why I say, oh, competition. Yeah, I understand it serves a purpose, right? We're competitive it just naturally, but it's the collaboration and building your community that's going to be so vastly different, because it's gonna hit a little different when the tea shop closes, and it's going to hit a little differently when the gal with the lashes doesn't have a customer base, so she closes, right? It hits a little differently, and we experienced that during the pandemic and during COVID. So that's why I say often open up those conversations, open up dialogue, look at different ways that you can work with one another. Do we need a sign in to get credit for attending? Tanya, I'll leave that to Zoe to answer. And then thank you, Brittany, of course, for having you here with us today. I really appreciate the audience space that we have. If you have any questions, feel free to just message me directly at that office at josefina.com. Again, I'm going to leave that up. If you message and you want to get that visual, right, that PDF where you can fill it in, you can think about it, you can work through what your objectives are. I ask a little bit more strategic questions to help you analyze your business. But what's most important, more than anything else, is understanding that we're just everyday people learning to connect with our brands, with other people. And that right there, those connections, that's what matters the most, because that, like, without customers, you have no business, right? So value their input and give them an opportunity to embrace and enjoy your backstory of why you created all together. My website is lozafina.com, LOZAFINA.com. And then you can always find me on socials and we can always connect, but I'm always here for you.
Awesome. Any other questions for Josefina? Oh, someone said thank you. Another thank you. Awesome. Well, if a question happens to appear in the chat, I will just stop my screen share. But we will go ahead and wrap up, and I will have the PowerPoint slides within the webinar recording, so you can access those. And then I'll also have Josefina's contact information as well if anyone watching the recording happens to have a question. But thank you again for presenting today. I myself took a lot of great takeaways. And if anyone has any questions for me, you can contact me by emailing zoe@grownebraska.org, or of course, you can give our store a call and any of us would be happy to assist you. We do have some awesome upcoming trainings. Our next one is May 23rd, and that is strengthening cybersecurity defenses. And then we hop into June on the 5th, Get Found, Got Growth, Get Found on Search and Thrive Online. And then on June 20th, we'll have a USPS representative cover mastering e-commerce shipping in 2024. And then, of course, we'll have Josefina back on June 27th to dive more into market research. These are all live for registration on grownebraska.org. Of course, you can scan the QR code if you prefer. Oh, just checking the chat. And then, as always, feel free to follow Grow Nebraska on social media. We're on all the platforms, Instagram, X, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, you name it, we're on it. We post all our trainings to there with the registration links, as well as some awesome Nebraska products and also Nebraska events happening across the state. And then, as Maria always says, practice what you preach. So feel free to leave the Grow Nebraska Foundation a Google review. We always do a little happy dance behind our laptops. So let us know how you're liking our services. And that is all my announcements. Oh, I was reading the chat again, but thank you again, Josefina, and thank you to everyone that attended live. And I hope you have a great rest of your week.